How good does it get, SK?
Why not Australia?
Today, live from the Pinecrest Inn, it's the Smylie Show. So long, everybody.
This is the Smylie Show.
It is Sunday night here in Augusta, Georgia, and we are crowning a Masters champion for the first time since Tiger Woods. We have a back-to-back champion, Rory McIlroy. Lots to unpack in terms of his career legacy. Just seeing some tweets now from Luke Donald that tying Seve with 2 green jackets is going to mean a lot to him. He's undoubtedly the best European golfer of all time. Smylie, we'll go big picture later on in this show, but man, what a Sunday at Augusta, and one that it did not seem clear-cut who was going to come out with the win today. There were a lot of different challengers in the mix, and I just want to start unpacking the story of the day with you because we had Scottie Scheffler, who made this huge surge back yesterday with 65, opens up 2 under through 3, gets to 9 under. Rory 3 putts for double after missing the green at 4. He drops 2 shots off that lead. Justin Rose birdies 7, 8, 9, gets to 12 under. When Rory's at 9 under and you're seeing all these other guys surge, I mean, how do you think this day is going to unfold at that point in time?
You know, coming off of last year's Masters and how dramatic it was, you felt like there was going to be twists and turns the entire day, especially with the amount of players that were in contention. Rory McIlroy, I think after that double bogey at 4, it felt like we were being set up for another crazy day of Sunday, whether Rory was going to be a part of the story and win his second green jacket, or whether a Cam Young type was going to make a run, or Justin Rose, like you had mentioned. But at the beginning of the day, seeing Scottie Scheffler get off to that amazing start, that birdie at 1, that shot he hit, felt like it was going to be a special day for Scottie. And then Sam Burns getting into some trouble at 2. And I think just trying to wrap your head around that front 9 and the amount of possibilities, it felt like it was almost information overload. I don't know if you felt the same way, because when Roy made that double bogey, then your mind starts to go to all these different possibilities of who's going to win the tournament. And it wasn't until I felt like when Cam Young made the bogey at 6, because he looked rock solid those first 5 holes, misses a shortish putt at 6. But to me, Cam Young kind of opened the door for Rory. I thought the 2-shot swing at 7, especially for that final pairing, was the biggest moment of that front 9 outside of the 3-putt double for Rory. When Cam Young hits the fairway at 7, that becomes, if you give him 10 golf balls, he's getting it within 10 feet. I would say to that funnel pin, 9 out of 10 times. I don't know how many golf balls it would take for him to miss the green like he did. That was a inexcusable shot by Cam in that moment. I felt that Cam was going to have to show us wedge play down the stretch for him to win this tournament. And in a key moment at the beginning of the front 9, when he has all the control and looking for a bounce back birdie, hits it in the front bunker, hits it on the green, misses a putt for bogey, Rory makes birdie. And that seemed like all of a sudden Rory now was in the driver's seat, and then Justin Rose heads the back 9. So that's where I'll kind of leave just my overall initial impressions of the beginning of the day.
I think we were all sitting here watching it. We really felt like, is Justin Rose gonna get the one he deserves? I mean, 3 runner-up finishes here. Today's tied for 3rd. Is I believe his 5th top 5. It is his 5th top 5 in Masters history in 21 starts, and a guy that just seems to not only know how to play around Augusta National.
Yep.
Probably more than most, as we know, experience being so important around here. But a guy who was informed to start the year, the huge went to Farmers, is gaining ball speed even at the age of 45, and feeling like, okay, we saw him make a charge back, seemingly impervious to pressure. A guy who's been great at Ryder Cups, but man, Amen Corner does him in. I mean, he goes 2 over and 3 holes there, but really gives away 3 shots, because he hits the green in 2 at 13.
Yep.
And 3 putts. But I think all of us were thinking it starts with that approach at 11 where he kind of bails out right, leaves himself a really tough up and down that he cannot convert, makes bogey there. And then a duff chip at 12. I mean, I'm not saying that's an easy up and down at 12, but to make back-to-back bogeys there. And then you loved his tee shot at 13. Hits a beautiful approach on the green. And I mean, to me, it felt like if he is, because he enters that stretch 12 under, and he can easily emerge 13 under instead of 10 under. And then for someone who is a leaderboard watcher like Rory, that's something you're thinking about with every single shot you're hitting. As we continue to unpack today, that's the next piece, right? Like, how did a guy with Justin Rose's sort of competitive profile not give this one away, but not convert this one to the position he was on 11T?
It's the Masters on a Sunday.
It's fair.
And Augusta National
Yeah.
requires you to hit the shots, and sometimes executing on a Sunday is difficult. And Justin Rose was doing such a great job of it on the front nine, leaving himself in the proper position, starting a day with the chip in at 1, but really leaving it in a perfect spot on 9. And once he made that putt walking over to 10 and smashed a mini driver over the corner, hits the top of the hill at 11. It's a shot that nobody was necessarily getting it close. That middle left hole location at 11, you would have been okay, hitting it out to 40 feet. So the fact that Justin stepped up there, and most of the time when you miss right at 11, the ball comes out shorter because you either mishit it, you weren't committed to it. So I don't know if he ever had the right club in his hands. The fact that it scooted on down past to the right of the bunker, where that chip, if I've stood there, it's a very, very difficult chip. A couple guys got it up and down. There is some room. Rosie actually hit a really nice one and just missed the putt.
Well, and I mean, that's about as far as you can take that shot, right? That first shot there at 11. I mean, any further you're flirting with hitting it too far and rolling into the water on the other side.
The chip shot? Yeah.
The chip shot.
I mean,
like,
it's a defensive one, right?
You like the lead there, right?
Well, of course, if you get it over the bunker first and foremost, and then just keep it on the green, because if you chip it in the water, you're either hitting the same shot again or you're going to the drop zone, which is both short-sighted again. So the amount of pressure that these players are under in some, like, he should have just not put himself there. And as the bottom line, if he hits it on the green, it could be a completely different day. And I think from there, after that second shot, Rosie typically has this look about him, right? That he's so resilient. He's never going to give up. He's going to dig things out when things are tough. But after that second shot at 11, it kind of got him out of that frame of mind that we're accustomed to. You'll never see him hit a pitch like he hit at the 12th hole. And you just wonder if, he just wasn't quite there mentally with that concentration that he normally is able to take to a degree that nobody else is. So that was very surprising at 11 and 12 with him. Of course, wasn't expecting that.
Well, and then right about the time that he three putts, I'm not sure of the exact time, but as we watched on the broadcast, when he three putts at 15, at 13, is when Rory's standing at the tee at 12. And just talk about that tee shot, like 161 yards, 9-iron, a pin on the right side of that green that we most often see guys who are trying to play it safe on Sunday hit the center of the green and be okay with just trying to two-putt it from there. We've seen Rory, after 2 amazing days on Thursday and Friday to start the week in terms of strokes gained approach, had an off day on Saturday, and then the open of Sunday also looked a little bit shaky. So what went into that shot for Rory there, and what he does to step up there and hit it tight? I mean, it was pretty incredible.
I think so many Masters champions have a moment, and oftentimes that moment is on Amen Corner. You can think of plenty of past champions, whether it be Phil Mickelson hitting the shot out of the pine straw at 13.
Yeah.
You think of Tiger Woods hitting the green when everybody else falters short. And today, on a hole where the Golden Bell had the most difficult hole location on this green, everybody knows it. Everybody knows the shot that you have to play. And Rory didn't hit the shot that Jack Nicklaus would recommend or Tiger Woods would recommend, hitting it over the middle of the bunker. He hit a shot that I would say is the least comfortable to him. Something that is a knockdown, a little left or right shot. I would call it maybe a shot that he gets inside of 10 feet 1 out of 10 times. Not to say that Rory can't hit the shot, but in that moment, especially yesterday, watching him hit a pitching wedge long left to the easiest hole location on that green. The right flag, short irons, never been a good setup for Rory, but he hit the shot of the day. The proximity at the 12th hole today was 41 feet 9 inches, and Rory hits one inside of 8 feet. And in that moment, that was the shot that got him control of the golf tournament.
fact that we are seeing now multiple states propose, not just prop bet bans, but getting rid of online sports betting altogether really shows kind of the pushback that the industry is facing right now, and kind of the crisis it has to make sure in the public spotlight that it's being viewed accurately, and that it's working with lawmakers on, common sense proposals.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I gotta tell you, Kansas basketball the last 3 months, if I was the number one player in the country, I'd cross them off my list. Bill Self did not do Darren Peterson any favors. And now Badunga's going to stay in college but leave Lawrence? I'm red flags, in my opinion, Gabe, around the Jayhawks.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
There's all these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
Shocking reality, I think, for college basketball. Certainly the purists to see a legendary school struggle to land a current college heavyweight. But this is the new world order. Mike Malone is either going to be the greatest hire in modern college basketball history, or North Carolina is going to be conducting another incredibly expensive coaching search in the next couple of seasons.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I was worried that Scottie Scheffler was going to not have enough to get over the finish line, and that Cam Young, it just is, when days are going, everything's going right. There was even moments on Saturday where Cam Young's just getting good breaks. It's how you end up with a 65. Balls that should be in the woods, they end up in the fairway.
Ball kicking out. Yeah, there were a couple ones like that. And I want to talk about each of these players individually, just like what does this mean for them. But we're still kind of working through Sunday, and it's about this time where now there's another entrant into this race, and it's Scottie Scheffler out of nowhere. I mean, we had him left for dead.
Not nowhere, but
I'd say we should. Friday, many people wrote him off, right? He was. I think he shot.
I did.
He was even par, right? I think he was 70-74 to open. Makes the cut, of course, but everyone thinks he's miles off. Then goes out, posts a 765 on Saturday. So he's within 4 shots of the lead entering the day. Not completely dead, but he amazing par saves on 6 and 7. Wouldn't have even been in this position without long putts made there. And then we did raccoon time, a very different type of raccoon time on the show here last night. Scotty did a little bit of raccoon time on 15 because he hits that drive way right. He hits a nice punch out, but eclipses the last tree on his sort of intended line, falls back down the pine straw, hits that third shot to about 20 feet, and then makes that birdie up the hill. At that point, it gets him to 10 under, tied for second. Then hits it to about, maybe 10, 12 feet on 16, makes that birdie to get to 11 under and solo second. Of course, we know Scottie Scheffler was alive. Of course, we thought he was in play. But just, I'm curious, your thoughts on just how much of a factor he was going to become. I think you even had a number in mind for him. If he gets here, he either wins outright or is in a playoff.
I thought he needed to get to 13 to win, and it turned out that would have been enough to not only win, but win by 1 over Rory. I mean, these are all hypotheticals, of course, but what Scotty, I feel that he missed out on, and I'm curious, I didn't really get a great feel for what happened at 13. So Scottie Scheffler hits the fairway and lays up, and I just don't know what happened. And I don't know if we can maybe have Jackson during our record doing a little bit of investigative research of why Scottie Scheffler wasn't able to go for it in 2 at 13. The day prior on 13, he had some abnormal playing conditions on his golf ball. And today you wonder, did it happen again? Because it looked like he was in a place where he could go for it. I don't know why he didn't. And he laid up too close, ends up making par at 13. And 15 was obviously a bizarre situation where he tries to punch out on the layup and then has, it looks like nothing to the green, goes up over a tree, somehow lands it on the front of the green out of the rough, keeps it on the green, and then makes the birdie putt. And I want to talk about how great this shot was because we have two comparisons here. And maybe the wind had picked up fractionally more for Cam Young, but Cam Young had 7-iron into this same green. Scottie Scheffler hit 8-iron. And Scottie somehow holds the green and keeps it 20 feet short of the hole out of the rough. And Cam Young lands a 7-iron on the front of the green. It rolls over the green.
Yeah.
And so I just haven't like wrapped my brain around what happened there. Like how, like the differences of bounces on 15 hasn't computed for me because Rory's ball looks like it's going to land and spin back in the water. Meanwhile, Scottie somehow having a golf ball come down like on a baby's bottom and
That's
soft. It just, nothing added up for me there.
That's the first place in my head when is you talk a lot about Scottie's ability to control ball flight and change trajectory and change like landing angle being one of his, superpowers, right? And that's the only thing it could be, right? Just given how firm 13, but especially 15 greens were this week. And golly, that might have saved Rory because as we kind of keep playing out the day, that one at 15, if it's softer, it comes back. We're talking about that wedge shot at 15 being comparable to the one on 13 on Sunday last year, where he ends up making double, and maybe we're in a playoff right now. But I mean, for Scottie to hit that shot and make that putt, and then man, great drive at 17. We think he's got a chance. Almost makes that long putt at 17.
I think you got to go back to 16, man. That touch.
Oh,
the touch at 16 and 17. When he misses the greens at both of those situations.
Or you talking? No, Scottie hit the green at 16.
Sorry, I thought we were on Rory. My bad. I thought you got it.
Oh. Wait, sorry, I was drinking water. Okay, take it any way you want to go.
What you got? You got something for me, Jax?
Well, just that shot on 13 you were asking about. He had 288 to the pin on his second shot, and
he had 288.
Yeah, I don't
hold the phone.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Can you look and see what he did with his? Do you have a video of his drive there just to see if it?
Yeah, let's do some investigative reporting because he's in the fairway.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the fairway.
Okay, after some investigative reporting, Charlie, I just called Justin Kutcher, who I worked inside Amen Corner with on Amazon Prime this week. And I said, all right, Justin, why did Scottie Scheffler not go for it into Jackson tells us he was 288. Was the number right? Okay, so Justin has told us that he hit his tee ball to the right, hits a tree, comes back into the fairway, was too far away, was forced to lay up. So that answers our question on 13. It wasn't an abnormal playing condition with the golf ball. He was just too far back and needed to lay up. And then now I would argue that the layup was improper. I thought
too close.
You can hear Scottie in the clip of him laying it up. He said that ball needs a hook. He's trying to get the ball down to the left side of the fairway because if you're going to push it up in that 60 to 70 yard range, it needs to be left. It needed to be where Rory McIlroy played that shot from last year where he hit it in the water, but he didn't have an angle. He was too much on the downslope, and he hit a really good wedge shot, but he was too close with a bad angle. If he would have taken that same line on the layup, he needed to be probably about 15 to 20 yards further back so that he could get spin on the golf ball.
And so then at that point in time, that's 13. So this is actually really rewinding quite a bit. But we recapped how, he makes birdie at 15, makes birdie at 16, has a good look at 17, and then sort of an uncharacteristic approach at 18. We're thinking maybe he can hit one tight, make a birdie, get to at that point.
The putt at 17, man.
Putt was right there on the front doorstep. I do think it's interesting, and we can maybe get into this as we kind of do some bigger unpacking. But all this talk about where's his approach game? Is he off in some way, shape, or form this week? He was 8th off the tee this week and 3rd in approach in terms of strokes gained. So good. Obviously you don't finish tied for 2nd in the Masters without strong showings both those places. But good to see him playing well there. After we talked quite a bit about what was different there this year relative to previous years.
What did I say when he got to 15?
You said if he gets to 13, he wins a tournament.
I told you he was going to get to 13.
Yeah.
And when that ball was rolling towards the hole at 17, I cannot believe it missed.
It's going to be one of the best tournaments forever. I'm going to remember this one for many reasons, but just more how strong the mind is to be able to go out and convince yourself that everything is going to be okay. So that's Colin himself telling you how much of an effort it was for him. And we were sitting here watching Jack's the tee shot at 16 and hobbling off the tee, and then the putt he makes for birdie and pulling it out of the hole. But I think when you were starting the week with Colin, where there was some reports that on the range he was hitting driver and he was not carrying it 280. That was the total yardage of some of the drives he was hitting, and playing practice rounds where he was not hitting tee balls at all, to go out and do this week. I think it really just speaks to, we had this sort of down stretch of his career in a way where he won the majors and he was seen as one of the best ball strikers. And then there was like the weird year where he started drawing it instead of cutting it. And you're sort of wondering, what's he going to make of this? But the fact now that he won at Pebble Beach this year, the putting stats are the putting stats this week. Once the back gets healthy, I think he's going to be a factor at all three of the remaining majors in 2026.
Love it. Got another one here. A little bit more lighthearted. Does
Okay.
Rory get the same green jacket, or does he get a new one?
Yes. It's just the same jacket that they keep in that locker there.
Yeah, I think that's
I
don't think I don't think they'll put like 6 jackets in your locker to win 6 Masters. I think it's the same jacket, but you just get to tell people you have 2 jackets.
That'd be pretty sick. Well, I read somewhere this week that like Gary Player is the only person who doesn't have his jacket on site.
Oh.
I guess they just make Gary Player is
maybe so
one of a kind.
So I actually got some things I want to get into a little bit more in depth from a statistical standpoint with Rory McIlroy.
We'll come back to more with Jacks later.
So Rory hit the second least amount of fairways in the entire field of players that made the cut.
Yeah. Wow.
But interesting enough, he still gained 4 strokes off of the tee and was 7th in that category. So when I start to think about how or why, is it a little bit of luck that went his way this week off the tee to still miss fairways and still be in a position that he's gaining off the tee? So how was he doing it? Well, I think he was doing it with length, right? When you're far enough up there and you avoid trees and you catch some breaks like you do on 18, that's where you catch a little bit of slack a little bit when it comes to the statistics. But the other thing that Rory McIlroy did an incredible job of was his around the green. He led the field in around the green stats. And heading into the week, we talked an awful lot about around the green. Who can chip and putt it around this place? I thought he did an incredible job on Thursday, making timely putts. And really Thursday, Friday, I thought his putting was the big reason why he had a 6-shot lead. The chipping was fantastic all week. Maybe catching some breaks here and there with the driver. Iron game had its moments. It was good enough when it needed to be. Was it the best iron performance of his career? No, but it was plenty good enough when it had to be.
Well, no, I think that's if you're looking at, again, the strokes gain stats, it's the by virtue of Rory's length, even when he's off the fairway, right? He's still going to have better strokes gain off the tee stats than others because your proximity to hole plays a huge role in like what your expected score is from that place, right? So that's to start. But it just, I mean, to me, the story is in the iron play. Like the first round, he's 5th strokes gain approach.
Yep.
Then he's 10th in the second round. And then he's the second worst player in the field in the 3rd round. And then the 4th round, he manages to get it back to 15th in the field. And I definitely, I mean, I agree with what you're saying about around the green putting. And really, he had below average putting rounds both on Saturday and Sunday. But it was just, and I think it played out even it was a story of almost 2 9s today for him on Sunday, where he just that left pull miss with his irons and some of his short irons and wedges was still present. But then for me, it's that shot at 12 where he's just pulled a less club. He hit 9-iron today. He hit pitching wedge yesterday to a shorter and easier pin. And that's got to be going through your head a little bit. You're trying to figure out the wind. You're spending time there with Harry Diamond trying to get it right. And you stand up there and you hit that 9-iron exactly the way you want it to and make a birdie. That's like the big turning point for me with the approach play.
Statistically, it was Rory McIlroy's 2nd best iron shot of the week. The first best was the iron shot he hit at 16 early in the week when he got it rolling on that Friday round where he hit in there tight. But also interesting enough, outside of the drive, remember when he drove the green on the 3rd hole earlier in the week? that was technically his highest strokes gained off the tee value of the entire week. But guess what his second best was? It was the drive today on 13. We talked about how important those two shots were of getting control of this golf tournament. The iron shot at 12, the drive at 13. I think it's statistically, when you look at the values, that is the amount that he was able to pick up on those shots. Gave him control.
Not all these kids, but the majority of these kids in the top 10 have had things handed to them since they're in 3rd grade because they're special athletically. And the fact that they get humbled a little bit, I'm here for the humbling. I've been humbled. I like when other people get humbled.
But you were humbled later.
Yeah.
You weren't humbled at 22 in front of the world.
No.
You were a grown-ass man.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
For those people who use YouTube, there's a new feature that is powered by AI. And what is this exactly, Simon?
So let's say you're watching Yankees highlights, and you can say, YouTube, when is the next game at Yankee Stadium? You see that information on the screen. How much is the cost? What seats are available? You see that information on the screen. All right, call the Yankee Stadium box office. I want to make a reservation for 2 tickets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Team feels slow, it feels old, it feels uninteresting. It just kind of feels like a lot of guys who are quality ball players, some big contracts, but are just like lethargic when they're out there. Like Manny Machado moves in slow motion, so does Nick Castellanos, so does Xander Bogaerts, so do a lot of these players in this lineup. And I might be piling on a little bit too deep, but this was supposed to be a contender for a World Series.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point. They'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
This week kind of proves it. You have Cam Young, I think, is one of the best players up and coming, undoubtedly, with the start to the year that he's had, especially with the game that he has. And you got to remember too, like he hit the shots today.
He did.
The shot that he hit on 12, right on top of Rory McIlroy inside of 10 feet, was one of the best shots of the day, outside of Rory's. And then also was his ball striking was there, and it was good enough to win today. And if he wins, you're wondering, all right, how many majors can Cam Young win? But that's
another amazing narrative change too, right? From rewind this to August of last year, even more recent than Rory winning the Masters last year. You're talking about a guy with 0 PGA Tour wins, hasn't played on a Ryder Cup team, and all these things have now happened where he wins the Wyndham, he plays incredibly at Bethpage Black, he goes and wins the Players, and he has a real chance to win today. I mean, I just feel like that's a guy that. And even having Dr. Brett McCabe on the show too, like just Cam's mindset in these moments, I think there's really something to take a page out of. Where he just really stays even keeled the entire way. And
I'm laughing right now at something. I'm so sorry. This official world golf ranking. I just want to see. Is like, ooh, I wonder how close Rory McIlroy just got to Scotty Scheffler, and like, is he have a chance of passing him? Oh my gosh, I forgot how many points average Scotty Scheffler has. He has 15-point average. Rory McIlroy is at 8. Now he'll obviously get a big jump from winning the Masters. It's insane that he had a 7-point advantage heading into this. Like, I mean, it's wild just how big of a lead Scotty Scheffler has, and he'll keep that lead for quite some time. But if Rory McIlroy is able to win another major or a couple more big time events, he might close in on Scotty Scheffler as world number 1. But a heck of a week. Seeing Scotty, I mean, anytime you have Rory McIlroy at 1
know.
and Scotty Scheffler at 2 on the leaderboard, that's the stuff that gets me so excited watching the best battle it out.
But it was a weird flow to Sunday in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Like there was just something about the fact. So Scotty Scheffler and Haotong Li tee off at 1:52, and Rory goes off with Cam Young, I believe at 2:25 is the tee time. So there's like this separation there. I don't know how to describe it. Like it was, if you look at the scoreboard and you look at even the finish where it's not signed, sealed, and delivered on 18 with Rory once he hits that tee ball right. You just don't know if he's gonna be able to execute that shot. So it was compelling in a lot of different ways, but the flow of it felt odd, or there was more. I remember last year, and last year's of course different because you're watching a guy try to win the Masters for the first time, a guy who you want to win the Masters so bad, and he's clearly suffering through the mental burden of that. And I don't know, maybe part of the weird, mental feeling I had around it is like, I'm not going to feel that bad for this guy if he doesn't win this Masters, which sounds insane to say out loud, but it's really like he already got over the hump last year. And so if he collapses, like, yeah, it's going to be tough. And yeah, it will have been given away a 6-shot lead he had on Friday night, but he's going to be okay. Like this won't be another chapter in like the gut wrenching Rory McIlroy history. And if the next person wins, at one point, it's like, it's Justin Rose, who probably, deserves a career Masters, a career green jacket on resume. I don't know how did you have a similar feel in the way it unfolded on Sunday?
There were just so many.
That's not a word.
there was just so many storylines to try to figure out, because all it takes is one shot to be the reason why somebody gets back into a contention. Could it be a second shot from Justin Rose on a par 5 at number 2? Like that could be the shot. So you feel like you have to keep telling the story of all of these players just in case. And the last thing you want to do is have to kick somebody from coverage, and next thing you know, they end up winning. I think with Scotty today, it's with him being 4 or 5 groups in front and getting off to that quick start and then getting on that par wall and feeling like, all right, you're just waiting for Scotty to kind of make that run. And so you have to keep cutting over there, but you never feel like you got into necessarily a normal flow with Scotty and just kind of like sitting with him. Cause most of the time you're getting to watch him live, but it felt like when he's out in front, you're just kind of cutting to him a little bit more. Meanwhile, you got your lead group and your other groups like Rose, who's got the lead, 2-shot lead at 1 point. Cam Young's got a 2-shot lead at 1 point. And then Rory McIlroy, comes off that double and you're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to wait on him. We have to document everything with Rory, of course. So there's only so many cameras and so much that you can do sometimes. Right. And it felt like today it was tough to cover all of those stories.
You Tyrrell Hatton throwing his hat in the ring.
I know, because you got to finish these.
Under.
You just don't know if Roy's going to screw up. You know, if everybody hits in the water at 12. Next thing you know, like you got to make sure that you get Hatton all the way through the finish. So producing television is hard, man, and especially when you have crazy days that you don't expect, and with leaders, making bogeys down the stretch. So it did feel like it had a very awkward flow to it today. But last year was such a roller coaster, much more about Rory McIlroy just not trying to give it up. So you could really, really just like sit down with that, right? Where today you didn't have that option. You had to just go shot to shot, cut around all over the golf course, and which made it all over the place in your brain trying to figure out who's going to win this tournament. And sometimes I would get lost on who was winning.
That was like you'd be cutting over to someone who had like a good score in an absolute sense, but you're like, but they're still 3 or 4 shots off the lead. Why are we seeing this person? It's like, well, they've made 3 or 4 birdies in a row, and they're showing no signs of slowing down. So we might need to log the fact that Tyrrell Hatton or Colin Morikawa or Russell Henley is heating up, because if they do end up winning, we have to show them on coverage. I'm curious too. We've got a mic for Jackson here. We got a mic for Brian. Jackson, first time, being amongst the media members. Just your thoughts on like the week itself. You found some good spots to watch the golf. What was it like?
Well, they obviously pick this weekend of the year on purpose. Like, I mean, the weather itself was just. I'm from Minnesota, coming down here just like every day, perfectly, between 75 and 85 degrees, just impeccable. Brian and I found some incredible spots to watch golf. obviously last year only got to come for one day, so didn't get to, see the course in its entirety. So we found some really cool spots to watch, some incredible golf. Like you were saying, because there were so many different storylines, we felt like we could just bop around to different holes here and there and see incredible shots, incredible stories throughout the entire time. It's like unlike any other place.
Question
absolutely
for you.
Incredible.
Being from Minneapolis, really cold winter, a lot of snow. Do you think you've shoveled more snow more than 50% of the days of 2026 or less than 50%?
Well, it's less, but the weight that my plastic shovel from Walmart has endured this year has been crazy. A lot of wet, thick snow.
Okay.
The back is suffering.
So with that being said, a week like this, does that make up for a cold winter in Minneapolis or no?
Oh man, I wouldn't say it makes up for it, but
does it negate it at all? Is it
slightly? I mean, when I left last week, it was raining and snowing. So, I mean, yeah, can't.
Guys got the itch.
Yeah.
I got the itch.
It's like you're making a birdie after a double.
Pretty
You
soon-
got one back, but
yeah.
you still made a double.
Before you know it, the mosquitoes will be back out again.
That's
huh?
right.
Have you tried lighting the
That's
snow
right.
on fire?
I don't know how that works scientifically. I don't
well,
know if that's a
There were
thing.
a lot of scientific questions we've done around the show this week, and I'm happy to answer any and all or most of them. How about Brian over there, who got us some candy bars? We ate his children's candy bars. He built us this beautiful studio here. What are your thoughts on the week, Brian?
I almost had a disaster happen on 4.
Oh man!
So Ludwig puts it in the bunker. I'm standing there with Jax. Don't know what I'm doing. I drop my beer, literally full spill
in his back.
Sounds. Oh yeah, just about moments before. Thank God. It sounded like a gunshot went off, hit the ground. Everyone's looking at me.
And Ludwig's over the golf ball?
Yeah, he's literally over the golf ball, and I'm just like, oh my. He didn't swing yet, so it was
Oh man,
moments away.
If it would have happened during his shot, the best thing about the Masters app is we could have gone back and watched, and you see Brian just with two hands like this, being like.
He also forgot.
They cut away to Brian. He was sitting there.
He also forgot to mention the beer was 80% full.
Yeah.
I mean, like we had just gotten it, dude.
Did it feel like everybody on Sunday kind of had a little clumsiness to them of the patrons?
I think so. I don't
So,
know.
there was somebody sneeze in the back of Rory's backswing.
Was that 15 or was that 13? Rory?
That was 13. and I'm gonna have to tell her no, none for daddy. I've had enough.
You know what? I will say, if they ever put a hat out that had like the wrapper on the front and said candy bar on it, I'd buy that hat. I mean, just as a bit. I don't know if I'd wear it anywhere like publicly, but
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, so now we're here on the candy bar. We've kind of done all of these things. What if you had to pick one item from the Masters, whether it be a concession, whether it be a beverage, a merch item? Give me your favorite Masters purchase from this year.
From this year, ranking all of them,
Could be apparel, could be a gnome, could be an accessory.
Okay, well,
could be a poncho
all right.
that you never used.
I have a simple answer for mine while you stew on yours.
Please.
I'm so in on the chicken salad sandwich. Like, I think I had 14 of them.
I never had one this week.
Chicken salad's great. It's great.
I went a whole year without a chicken salad sandwich.
I got some merch. I got some other things, but that was a consistent go-to for me all week. That's my number one.
Chicken salad feels like it gets overlooked a little bit.
I think so.
And against the egg salad and so you feel like you got to do pimento or egg salad. Then once you get into chicken salad world, you're like, why haven't I been living here this whole time?
That's right. Brian found a good one today too. What was your find, Brian?
Oh, what did I have?
The barbecue sandwich.
Oh yeah, barbecue sandwich quality. Actually pretty good. Add a little barbecue on there, a little hot sauce.
Can you believe that we almost had raccoon time today with 2 tomato pies, but for some crazy reason, Brian didn't want to carry around 2 hot pockets in his backpack from 9:30 a.m. on the rest of the day. I can't imagine why. I can't imagine why he wouldn't want to do that.
Like
but that's why we're not doing raccoon time with the tomato pie.
It's a shame. That's a shame. Shame on you, Brian.
Charlie almost made him do it.
No.
So you
That
can
was
put
a
it in your
fair.
pocket.
That was a fair rejection.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that was a good time frame. I thought we were going to come back. I actually do have a regret, though. I didn't eat the peach, Georgia peach. I was like, I'll get to it.
That's
we'll
your
come back
biggest
on the
regret.
way. Yeah. So
We might have to do biggest regrets segment too.
Yeah, I think that's mine.
Okay,
Not getting the peach.
let's file through our best purchase though. So give me your best purchase.
Man. Oh, well, I guess this is a utility purchase. So I for whatever reason, didn't buy or bring a belt on this trip. So I get down here and I've been using Jackson's belt since day one. So I'm
Okay.
like, and I also went into the merch like 3 other times before I got the belt. So
He wins merch of the year on the Smylie
I
Show
went
by like a
crazy.
Four
long
times.
shot.
He
I
went
went
4
crazy.
times.
No,
Merch.
three times.
No,
Wow.
we're counting our final one today.
Okay. So 2 today.
Yeah, you went twice today, man.
That's true. I got it. I got the jute bag or whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You're right. I did make a purchase.
Wow. Okay,
I know.
Charlie.
So I'll say, I think I'm gonna go sentimental here. I'm gonna go. It's the hat I got Kadick. She really wanted a hat. Every time I saw her on FaceTime this week, she said hat. So it's that little azalea hat that I got her. But I will say the candy bar was a second. It was a close second. Candy bar was good.
Is this terrible that I'm between cold beer and a barbecue sandwich right now?
That's the most American thing you've ever said on this show.
I tell you,
cold beer and barbecue. Come on now.
The sandwich that Fran created with the barbecue cup with the pimento cheese was something from a movie. I mean, I wore it yesterday on the show. I mean, I got barbecue sauce all over me. And so I'm trying to think, was that first bite of that better than the first sip of that cold beer? And I am so torn.
I'll tell you what, this is coming from the same woman who brought us redneck charcuterie on the show, which is a staple. Little Kaneka sausage. Fran knows her way around a good sporting event snack. So
I only had
producing
2
this.
bites of this, and it's gonna be my answer.
I love that.
I only had 2 bites of it. Now that was a terrific cold beer. It was an 8.8 as far as cold beers go.
Yeah.
So maybe if it had crept up to 9.0, then we would have been there. But man, what a first couple bites. of that
Okay,
sandwich.
so then what's do you want to reverse snake this and tell us what your biggest regret is this week?
Okay, biggest regrets of something I didn't purchase. Well, I didn't really ever go to merge. I went with Fran.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be
unwillingly.
merch. It could just be anything in general. Just your biggest regret of the week.
Well, I didn't get to try the chicken salad sandwich. And so that kind of rings in my head, but also I must say the tomato pie, there's a bit of just I don't want to call it regret, but more so I'm thinking about her, you know?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about her.
Yeah. tough one to leave behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest regret, it's definitely not getting to sleep early on Saturday night. That was one of the best things I did all trip long. So we're not
Charlie Irish goodbye us last night.
Shout out to T-Bones, by the way.
That's right. Shout out to Josh and Jacob
sure.
and T-Bones. They took great care of us this week, even though we could not do our show. I hope we can rectify that.
No, they took care of us.
Yeah.
No,
that's right.
no. I got taken care of early in the week, too.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
He went to T-Bones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to T-Bones. You think I was going to come here and not go to T-Bones?
Well, kind of thought you did.
Do you check?
This gentleman went to Cookout and went and got a milkshake instead of joining the fellas on a Saturday night in Augusta, Georgia. Shame this man.
Okay, my tummy was hurting. All right. First of all, it's been a rough week.
If you have a tummy hurting, who goes and gets a milkshake?
Well, because it was a science equation. All right. My tummy hurt because of the sour mix and the margaritas that we drank that they basically served to us in a cereal bowl, and so then I had to balance that out with the pH with the basic component. And that was the Oreo peanut butter milkshake at Cookout.
Again, this is not a math pod because this is not adding up.
That's a science.
The old tried and true method of fixing your stomach ache with dairy.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about that one. That's a free tip. You guys can take that one. I think my biggest regret this week is going to be. I don't know that I had many regrets. I feel like, you know what I wish we would have done more of? We did it one day. We went in that bleacher on 17 where you can see T-balls on 8 and receives on 17. And with our press badges, we could get up on like that top vantage point. There was a nice breeze kind of blowing through. Yeah. But see, the thing is, so I regret not doing more of that, but we also found some like killer watch spots this year.
Oh, me too.
Oh, dude, right side of 3.
Incredible.
So you can. I think right side 3 might be the best because they push it so far up off the tee that you can see what they're doing with their approach shot there. And we saw like 3 different trajectories on Saturday. One guy went high, one guy went mid, one guy went low, and kind of bumped it in the front. You can see how they're manipulating their wedges, what they're trying to do, and then you can see their putts, and then you get to see them at tee balls.
Did anybody hit a wedge shot into 3 this week? By the way,
what do you mean, like a
full
wedge?
Did we see anybody lay up and hit a wedge into 3?
I think.
Oh, Aaron Rye.
Aaron Rye.
Process is closed. Let's call it out for this, right? And is it their fault? You could, they've been just besieged at Embiid, but it just continues, Kevin, right? As soon as he's like, don't worry about my health, and then here we are, right? I would have traded him a couple of years ago. I would have gotten ahead of the curve, Kevin.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like 2, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Scottie Scheffler, the best golfer in the world. How many majors will he win this year? And if he does get 4, Joe, that's currently trading at 3 cents. So a $100 investment actually only pays back $333 at this point, which is kind of insane when you ask him to win all 4. Joe, I told you already, sticking to my guns. $100 investment on no majors. None over the next 4 this year.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
You build teams in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round, right, Donnie? Yeah. That's where you build. That's where you get the depth. That's where you build the team. So teams looking for draft capital very much could be alive and well in this draft coming up because there's just nobody to mortgage the future for because you need your franchise guy. They're just not in this draft.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
game-ish to
Home
there.
game, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, the New York crowd's gonna bring Cam Young home.
Oh yeah.
Battling Scotty Scheffler, trying to win the Grand Slam.
Wow.
These stories write themselves, folks.
Wow. We love to see it. Well, man, what a fun week. What a fun week with the boys together here in Augusta. Jackson and I had a little bit of FOMO leaving the or Sunday Scariest things. Yeah.
Only other quick note I got.
Okay, what do you got?
Didn't notice this, but Rory McIlroy, he birdied a third of the holes this week.
I think that usually helps.
24 birdies.
That usually helps.
That is insane. Does that even make sense? Yeah, he had 24 birdies.
Yeah.
8 bogeys, 2 doubles. How many how many Masters champions have had 2 doubles in a week? I know Rory probably did it last year.
He did. We had 4 last week.
He had 4 last year.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what the average would be for double bogeys, but let's see. How about this? I got to scroll all the way down to Victor Hovland, who had 3, and he's in 18th, but 17 other players had 1 double or less on the top of the leaderboard. Rory has 2, and is in a similar bogey average as everybody else, and still finds a way to win by 1.
That's what I think. The thing about him is that he does take you on a little bit of this roller coaster ride, where you're like, he'll make a big number. Today, I'm like, how in the heck he missed a shorty for bogey at 4, and you're like, is he really going to do this to us again? But he just has, maybe more so than anyone else in the field, the highest upside,
right?
The highest ability to go out and make a birdie or an eagle, and he's never really out of it.
All right, so a little round table question for everybody here. All right, how many more birdies did Rory have in Scotty Scheffler this week? Let's take this around town.
Okay.
He won by 1.
1 by 1. And
Rory had 24.
And then Scotty was bogey free on the weekend. I'm gonna guess he had 12 more birdies than Scotty.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 8 more.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I'll go with 9. I'll split.
There you go.
Charlie got it right. It was 12.
Oh,
good one.
12 more birdies.
That's incredible.
That's wild.
And only 1 by 1.
Shot difference.
That's crazy, right?
How about Scotty just bogey free on the weekend? That's
I know.
pretty dang impressive.
I know. I'm just blown away by 12 more birdies.
Yeah.
That's a lot of offense. My goodness.
Yeah.
No. Okay, that's not completely accurate now. Scotty had 2 eagles. Now that adds up. Now that's starting to add up, guys.
That's all right.
Sorry, stats.
Hey,
That's all right.
not a stats pod.
Well, I mean, the question still stands.
Yeah,
How many
it's
more
not
birdies
wrong.
do you have?
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
All right.
Not a stats pod.
Apologies.
Not a science pod. Not math and stats probably the same. But we are a pod that had a heck of a week here, and we're
Another
gonna do it
Masters
again
down.
soon. We're gonna do it again in
From Brian and I think I can speak for him. Thank you guys so much for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Jax.
It's an
Thank you, Brian.
incredible place and incredible group of men here. So thank you. Guys.
That felt like I felt like I was in the locker room, North Dakota State.
That's
baby.
right.
Incredible group of men right
Go
here.
Bison.
Go Bice.
That's right. Go Bison.
Go Bice.
That's how we're ending.
That's how it ends. Go Bice.
Roll herd.
Only other quick hitters, man. Max had a great week. Jake Knapp had a good week. Jordan ended up having a good week.
Mm-hmm.
The only other players we met, I mean, Russell Henley made his run. Tyrrell Hatton made his run. Other than that,
Yeah.
congrats to Rory McIlroy, man.
And
Second
we have
green jacket.
Golly, let's look at this right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 events until the next major, the PGA Championship.
Bada bing, bada boom.
RBC Heritage, Zurich Classic, Cadillac Championship, and the Truist Championship. Back-to-back signatures heading into the PGA. So we're headed a nice little stretch of golf. We're about to be playing some golf. I got a tee time tomorrow at Broom's Edge.
7 weeks in a row for me, buddy. I'm excited to be home.
Do your mobility work. Yeah, that's right. Good to get home. We appreciate you tuning in all weekend long on YouTube, the social content. It's been always fun for us to put that in front of you all, and it means the world to us, the way you all support us all in these major weeks. And
If you made it this far, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to, I think, 20K.
wait, we might have got there. I can check.
Oh, this is the big reveal. Did we get to
there.
20K this week? We're about to find out.
I got it.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Oh my gosh. 19,999. Somebody subscribe right now,
God.
please.
All right, I'll subscribe.
Can we just say that we hit 20?
Yeah,
I mean, by the
think we
time
hit
this
20.
comes out, we're hitting 20.
Somebody make an account.
Yeah, someone make an account right now. Maybe by the time you get there and make this, we'll probably got to 20. And that again is a thanks to you all, our audience. We'll not be able to do this without your support. So Stay tuned. Next week, we've got a little bit of RBC Heritage content. We're going to take a little bit of a break post-Masters and then get back into it, recapping all the action.
We stay grinding, bro. We stay grinding.
We do stay grinding.
That's right.
So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for chiming in. We'll talk to you back here very soon.
We'll see you next week on the Golf Channel. This has been The Smylie Show.
You know, I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our local fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too, so please keep it up.
For all the good people at YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the